3 months ago, no one had even heard of the AI sales platform Monaco. Today, it's doing over 1 million in monthly recurring revenue and has secured over $85 million in Series A and B funding. How is this possible? How could a company possibly explode like this over the course of just a few months? Well, today, we're going to explore how AI has completely transformed the way that sales are done in startups and who is going to be impacted as this takeover occurs. Let's start by talking about what is Monaco exactly. Well, it's an AI native sales automation platform that competes with major players like Salesforce and HubSpot. But the big difference with Monaco is it was built from the ground up to be AI native. Companies like Salesforce, companies like HubSpot, while they do implement a lot of AI and automation, they weren't built as AI first. That's the competitive advantage, that's the blue ocean for Monaco. And the CEO and co-founder, Sam Blon, says that AI is changing the way startups grow revenue and that Monaco will chart that path, which seems like pretty standard CEO talk in my book. Anyway, what does this company do? Well, the company deploys AI agents and automations to replace the many pain points that occur in the sales process. And frankly, that's a huge problem for startups. I'm the fractional CMO for a SaaS startup myself. We're doing about 4 million in annual recurring revenue, and we've seen growth, consistent growth over the last 90 days, week over week, month over month. So that's exciting. That's good to see. But I can tell you, as the marketing director over there, the sales process has been very painful. Finding good salespeople, getting them trained, getting them to use proper prospecting, proper CRM hygiene is a real challenge. If you tell me that a program like Monaco can relieve all those pain points, well, that's pretty exciting to someone who's leading growth for a startup. Let's kind of go through how it works and some of the roles that it's going to replace, because I think this is important, especially if you're in sales and marketing, to understand what is actually happening in this new world. So basically, when you get started with Monaco, you're going to start by teaming up with them to define your ICP, your ideal customer profile. At that point, Monaco gets to work. Monaco AI agents build out your entire TAM, target addressable market, and create a massive prospecting list. And the lists look really impressive. It's essentially an AI-driven spreadsheet that looks much cleaner, has nice overlays. It breaks down some really key factors for any sales and marketing company. Specifically lead score. So it gives a lead score, it determines the industry, are there mutual connections that you and other companies might have? Do you have common investors? And a bunch of other signals that are going to be important based on your startup. Another thing that I find that it does really well is it actually goes out and finds the founders and team members that your sales company might need to communicate with. And this whole process is particularly interesting to me as we're going through this process, this entire prospecting process for the company that I'm working with. We built out a big spreadsheet. We basically got a giant spreadsheet of all of the top sellers or top prospects in our industry. What I did is, and I talked about this in a video last week, is I used Claude Cowork to go through, clean up the list, find contacts, just kind of clear it up, add additional columns and so on and so forth, send that all over to my SDR, and now my SDR is starting the LinkedIn prospecting campaign. So, and again, and I mentioned this the other day, what was taking my SDR an entire day to do, Claude Cowork was just doing in the background. I talked about this again last week. I was just recording a video like this when I got back home, and it had already screened about 100 different prospects, giving me LinkedIn profiles, all of which looked good. And again, he's in the process of reaching out to these people now. And I'm not going to get too deep into my exact process, but I just think that this is a pretty common pain point in companies, is that whole prospecting and cleanup process. Okay, anyway, at that point, the AI agents build these messaging sequences to target the right message at the right time to the right person. And one of the cool things that this startup does what Monaco does is they incorporate a gifting too. So it says, hey, we'll send you a nice bottle of Prosecco. Congratulations on hitting this milestone, et cetera, et cetera. And I think that's something that a lot of organizations maybe don't fully comprehend about AI, is that it's really good at scraping the web for massive amounts of data. So again, just going through a prospect's LinkedIn post and then finding different things that they're bragging about or excited about is a good way to kind of open that conversation. This is something that I just learned just by kind of researching what Monaco is doing. I love this idea of saying, hey, congratulations on hitting 10,000 active users. Can I send you a bottle of wine to celebrate that accomplishment? Boom, they like it, they answer. This is one of the hardest problems, and we'll talk about this more in a moment. One of the biggest challenges with getting a cold prospect to reply to you or click on a link is, well, getting them to reply to you or click on a link. Again, we'll talk about that more in a moment. So I love this approach of, you see a high value prospect, sending them a bottle of wine could cost you $50. And you factor that into your customer acquisition costs, especially if you're in B2B sales. That's probably a good way to go. Anyway, the goal here with this AI agents, building out these messaging sequences, sending the gifting, is to get a reply, to book a call, and at which point the AI agent will automatically create an opportunity for your sales to work. Again, things I love. I love all this because, again, getting a sales team to use your CRM properly is just a huge hassle. And then if you lose a salesperson, you got to bring on a new one. Getting them to use your lead pipeline, your opportunity pipeline, deal pipeline, Craig, it's a huge hassle. All my startup founders, do you feel me on this one? It's just a huge hassle. So, okay, let's get back to what Monaco does. So it records the meeting. So they schedule the meeting with Monaco. It records the meeting. Monaco joins and records the meeting, and that recording is very, very valuable. And it uses that recording to update the customer custom fields like the budget, the size of their team, their current tech stack, potential pain points, etc. It then updates the opportunity status automatically, which again is one of the problems that I've had with sales teams, is they just don't want to use the CRM the way it's intended to be used. It even drafts an email follow-up, all of which I love. And by the way, one of my favorite tools right now for recording meetings, it has a great API that integrates into your tech stack, is a software called Fathom. I'll put a link to it below. I have a special rate for Fathom. If you or any of your sales team are on sales calls on Zoom or Google Meet or any of these Microsoft Teams, if you're not using an AI recorder like Fathom, you should download this immediately. I love Fathom because it takes down all the notes. It gives me an AI summary. I can watch recordings. It has coaching. It all completely integrates into my CRM. So whenever a Zoom call is completed, it sends it over there. It's really, really good. Anyway, that's another thing that Monaco does. It implements this directly in. And again, you could cobble together all of these different pieces of the tech stack, but the promise of Monaco is it's all encompassing, it's all in one. They make it easier. So you're not building out your tech stack with a bunch of different software. This is another really great feature that Monaco offers. It has a CRO co-pilot, which gives the salesperson feedback on how to improve. And again, this is something that Fathom does that I like, but I think this is really, really invaluable. You know, if you're a sales trainer, you don't necessarily need to listen through 4 sales calls. You can just use the software to help train your salespeople and to review yourself to see how a salesperson is doing. Like, for example, this is one of the things that Fathom does. What percentage of how much of the talk time are you using up, right? Because as a salesperson, you probably want to be 40% or less of talk time. Well, one of our sales guys on our team, we noticed was doing 80% of the talking, and immediately we saw that as a red flag. Said, hey, brother, you're talking 80% of the time. You know, statistically, if you're speaking 40% or less, you're going to get a better result. He started talking less, letting the customer speak more. He drove the conversations, question-based, O-based questions. And anyway, once we found that the prospect was speaking more, he ended up closing more deals. But anyway, that's another thing that it does. And then the other piece that Monaco does is make sure that the follow-ups happen, that there's no leaks, that no one's slipping through the cracks of the sales process, which, as you're probably aware, is a major issue when it comes to large prospecting campaigns. So anyway, that is how Monaco works. And as you can probably already see, this solves a lot of problems for startups, training, handling your sales team. It just automates and uses AI agents to fill in a lot of these processes. And we're going to cover why that is impacting the valuation of this company so dramatically. I mean, $85 million in funding, over $1 million in monthly recurring revenue. Like, this company is exploding. Nobody had heard of this company 3 months ago. It's absolutely bananas. So what does this do? Well, it really reduces the need for a large team of SDRs, outbound sales teams, and CRM admins. Basically, you can have a small founder-led sales team. Maybe you've got 2 or 3 sales guys that can just absolutely crush it because it takes out all this kind of busy work on the back end. And again, how did this happen? How has this explosion happened so quickly? Well, this whole entire sales workflow is, in reality, the perfect place for AI to hop in. Okay, why is that? Well, sales departments are very expensive, and they have a lot of repetitive, heavily process-driven tasks. Not to mention there's a direct and measurable ROI. As soon as you get a tool like Monaco implemented, you say, okay, well, you paid $30,000 for Monaco, but it's already helped you land $70,000 in deals. Boom, this is a no-brainer, we're gonna keep it on, right? So it's absolutely exploding. And I think one of the cool things for Monaco is that it's kind of like proving itself that it's work. They're using Monaco to sell tech startups into their program, and that's kind of the proof. It's like, look at how well this is working. We're using it to grow our organization. You can use it to do the same. And I like this approach. I love this approach of using your own solutions to solve your own problems. This is something that Claude has done to completely explode. Claude really focused in on using AI to write code and then use the AI written code to build out and scale their own company faster. So you're using your own products to solve your own problems. It's kind of like, you're able to, if you're able to fix your own problems, you become an expert in solving your own problems, if that makes sense. And then you can take all those problems, all those pain points, all those solutions, and sell those to other people, which I think is great. Now, the goal here is to automate the entire sales process, right? Just use AI agents to automate the sales process. And quite frankly, I'm not positive that's gonna be possible. And we covered this in a video a few weeks ago. I'll post a link to it here. It's a little bit longer, but we go into a lot of detail about where AI really fits into the sales process, because the reality is that people don't really like getting cold DMs from robots. I'm sure you see it on LinkedIn. Have you been on LinkedIn? Put in the comments below. Have you been on LinkedIn recently and you're just getting blown up with these like robotic messages? People don't typically like that. And so there's kind of this fine line that we are navigating now. And really the North Star is, can we use AI? And as AI gets better, can we make it sound more human, more customized? So, and frankly, results driven, because at the end of the day, guys, that's what matters. There's a lot of people that hate on AI, and this is again a place where a program like Monaco can really shine, because at the end of the day, it's all metric driven. Sales and marketing is just a numbers game. All that matters is conversions, okay? It doesn't matter how robotic it sounds. All that matters is how many people can I get to buy the product? How many people, like, what is the response rate? What is the reply rate? What is the open rate to my calendar? What is the calendar show rate? What is the close rate? It's all numbers. And if we look at a company like Monaco, it's all results driven. It doesn't matter, again, this probably sounds obvious. It doesn't matter how robotic it sounds. All that matters is, do we get the sales conversion? Anyway, what do you think about this? What do you think about companies like Monaco? Do you think that it's going to continue to scale up? Do you think that it's going to crash and burn? Do you think that it's going to overtake the giants like Salesforce, like HubSpot? Let me know in the comments below, and I will check you out in the next video. And by the way, if you enjoyed today's video, you should definitely check out yesterday's video, where we talk about the massive drama that's happening at Coinbase, which is crazy because Coinbase just fired 700 people to deploy AI agents. Then 2 days later, their website crashes. What's going on there? Watch out yesterday's video to check out. See you there. Peace.